Now you're probably wondering, who is this happy looking chap right here? Well, this is Carl Pearson, the developer of the Pearson product moment correlation, also referred to as Pearson's R or Pearson's correlation coefficient, and this R here is just to denote the coefficient. Now, Pearson's R is simply the measure of a linear correlation between two variables, x and y. And now, the value of this coefficient always ranges between -1 and +1. -1 being perfect negative correlation and +1 being perfect positive linear correlation, and the 0 in between representing no correlation whatsoever. The easiest way to calculate Pearson's R, or the gradient of the regression line, or the y-intercept, is indeed to use the calculator and not really bother with all these nasty looking equations right here. And that's what I'm essentially going to show you in this video. Now, the first thing you must do is put the calculator into stat mode, and the way we do that is to press mode and then click 2, which is stat. And now once we click 2, we click 2 again, which is a plus bx, and we want it to be in that mode, so 2 again. And now here we have our x column and our y column, and all we do is simply plug in the values. So the first x value is -5, and now I press enter. The next is 0, enter, and the next is 5, enter. Really quite simple. And now we do the same for the y column, sorry. So it's 2, 6, and 0. And now we press AC, which might seem confusing, but bear with me. So AC, and now we press Shift, and then 1. And now here we have a list of loads of different types of modes we can go into, but what we want is number 7, regression. So we click 7, and now here we have a few other options on what exactly we want to calculate, and we'll get to A and B later on, but at the moment we want to calculate Pearson's R. So the first question is asking us to calculate Pearson's R. So we click on 3, which is R, and enter. And here we get -0.32732 blah blah blah. And that should be the right answer, and it is. And now, when you have a value for Pearson's R that is in between -0.5 and +0.5, there really is no point there in calculating the line of best fit, as there's a very, very weak linear correlation between the 2 points, and that's what that suggests when the value of Pearson's R is in between -0.5 and +0.5. An important thing to note before we carry on is that for those of you who are using the fx-85 GT+, you'll have to calculate the regression calculations by clicking 5 instead of 7. So on this calculator you press Shift 1, and then here option number 7 is regression calculations, whereas on the fx-82es, you'll have to do the same, but instead click on number 5 for regression calculations. As usual in question 2, we have to calculate now Pearson's correlation coefficient, the gradient of the regression line, and the y-intercept of the regression line. I'm going to show you one more time how to calculate all these values before we can move on, and you can try to attempt the question by yourself. So the first thing we want to do is put it into stat mode. So you just click mode, and then 2, and then 2 again, a plus bx. And now we plug in the values. So for the x column, it will be 2, 5, and 8. And now for the y column, -4, -2, and 6. Enter. And now the next step is to press AC, so off AC. And then we press Shift and then 1, which is stat. And here we have all these options, and none of these really matter for us except number 7, which is for regression calculations, and all these are regression calculations. So we press 7, and here we have number 3, Pearson's R. So we click 3, and now enter, and there we have it. We have a very strong correlation, positive correlation of 0.944911, and so on and so forth. So that's our Pearson's R, 0.9449. And now you're probably wondering, well, how do we calculate the gradient of the regression line and the y-intercept of the regression line? Well, it's quite simple. So let's press AC again, and now you press Shift 1, 7 again for regression calculations. It's always going to be 7 in this case, and then we click B, number 2, equals 1.66666667. So that is the gradient of the regression line. And now to find the y-intercept, we simply do the same again. Shift 1, 7, and instead of pressing B or R, we click on A, which is number 1. So 1, enter, minus 8.33, and you'll find that all our previous answers were correct. So R was 0.9449, gradient was 1.6667, and y-intercept was equal to minus 8.333 recurring. So an interesting thing to note here is that when Pearson's R is above 0.5 or minus 0.5, that means that the correlation is strong. And when the correlation is strong, it is important to work out the gradient and the y-intercept, and that's what we've done here. Whereas in the previous question, Pearson's R was below 0.5, and therefore it wasn't necessary. Now with question 3, you can pause it and have a go for yourselves. Now if you weren't able to figure this out, I'll show you that it's really just using simple steps to calculate the Pearson's R and the gradient of the regression line and the y-intercept. So the first thing we do is press mode and put it into stat mode. So we click 2. And now we want a plus bx. So we click 2 again. Now we have the x column and the y column, and we just plug in the numbers. 5, 15, sorry, 1, 5, 25. Now we go onto the y column, 44, minus 4, and 5. Now you press AC, Shift 1 because it's stat, and we click on 7. And it's a reminder for those of you who are using the fx-85 GT Plus, you'll have to click on 5. But in this case, we'll click on 7. And now, to find Pearson's product moment correlation coefficient, Pearson's R, we click on 3, which is R, and equals, and here we get a strong negative correlation of minus 0.76426. And now that's Pearson's product moment correlation coefficient worked out. Now to find the gradient of the line, press AC, Shift 1, and we're really following the same steps here, 7, and we click 2, which is B, and that's the gradient of the line, equals minus 1.95, and that should be the gradient. And now to find the y-intercept, Shift 1, 7, and we click on 1 again, which is A, and that is the y-intercept. Enter 44.25, and that should be your y-intercept. Let's have a look at the answers in. So here we got that correct, we got the gradient correct, and we have the y-intercept correct. Thank you for tuning into my video, and good luck.